What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We are back with another Omni X-Men talking. It's a little different this time around. If you've seen the thumbnail, we're actually talking Marvel Fanfare issue number 1, which there's some mutants involved, and it's written by Chris Claremont. We're going to get into all that, but that's why it's actually part of the omnibus that we've been, basing this whole show off of. So for anyone kind of curious why we're talking about Marvel Fanfare on an Omni X-Men show, that is why. And of course, I'm not doing this alone. I have my good friend and co-host, my man John from John's Comics with Kids. Hey,
what's up, Marvel Fanfare in this thing?
That's what I'm saying. What the
heck?
Big misprint. Huge misprint.
Buy Omni Marvel Fanfare.
Like look above you. You have the Daily Bugle right above your head. Yeah. I mean, we got X-Men at the it's all backwards, man.
It's all happening.
How you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing well. It's Tuesday. I already triggered some folks, and now I'm here to talk about X-Men. This is a good night.
I saw that, man. Going back to back, pulling a.
Hey, I got a third one after this. I'm doing a CGC unboxing. So.
Oh snap! On your channel?
Nah. I have nothing on my channel. I'm on everybody else's.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I hope you're ready to talk some Marvel Fanfare. I'm really excited to kind of dive into some of this. And of course, we had to bring on a guest, and it's somebody who's been on the show before. We had him on last season, and really excited to have him on again. It's our good friend Verno, aka the Cerebros.
Yo.
What's going on, Verno?
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, chat? What's up, world? What's up?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Heck yeah, man. And love the omnibus collection and the statues you have going on there. I know you had some of that last time we had talked, and good to see everything growing. And how's everything? How's life? Everything good?
Everything is fantastic.
Good.
So it's good to be talking comics. I was telling you just before getting on, I've been on a bit of a hiatus on the Cerebros. So I've been mostly doing movie reviews on Dylan's Horror Show with Robbie, but I'm stoked. This is like the first comic that I've read in like 3 weeks. So I was happy to get back in the game a little bit, talk some comics with you guys.
Heck yeah. And no better way than to jump into something that has to do with mutants, I would say.
Right.
And you get some Spider-Man love as well.
Angel.
Yeah, that's yeah.
We get to see some shirtless Angel, which I never complain about a shirtless Angel.
So fair. Hey, so anyone watching right now, if you're watching the replay, if you are not following or subbed up to Verno, make sure you do so. I put his information in the description below. And Verno, you've just been a great guy. I've known you for, I feel like at least, about a year, maybe a little more than that now. Mm-hmm. And always so welcoming, always so easy to talk to. And so I'm excited to have you on here tonight with John and I breaking this stuff down.
Thanks, brother. Back at
Absolutely. Yeah, man. And of course, make sure you're subbed up to John if you aren't already, because we do this show, every other show on each other's channels. So in order to see next week's episode where we'll be talking about Marvel Fanfare issue number 2, that'll be over on John's channel. So make sure you check that out as well. And I hope you watched the last episode because we do have trivia later tonight after this breakdown of this issue. So if you're not entered already into our raffle, make sure you stick around. Or even if you are entered, stick around because you can get multiple entries into what we will be giving away later this season, which is kind of coming up quick. It's already April, John. So, I know, May, June-ish around there, we'll have a fun little season ending party. And we have a bunch of things to give away, including your mystery box that you are going to be raffling off. And also I have this beautiful piece of artwork here that we're going to cover Verno up with, as we got from our good friend Nicholas Lane 77 over on Instagram. So shout out to you, Nick. Thanks for this beautiful art piece, and we'll be raffling that off. So yeah, we'll stick around for that. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into the chat real quick. I saw a bunch of people hanging out already. Of course, we're starting it right off with a dad joke. It looks like from Magic Lasso, saying hi there. Let's see. He says, question, why didn't Spider-Man like his new spider car? Answer, he said it drove him up the wall.
Waka waka.
My man Lasso never fails at making John shake his head.
You're a real head kicker.
Yeah. Good to see you, Ryan. We also got my man Sove Collector Michael. What's going on, my friend? He says, wait a second. Marvel printed an omnibus of Marvel Fanfare? Not quite. I mean, yeah, exactly. Let's see. We also have another John, brother John, in the house. Good to see you, brother John. Thanks for hanging out with us. Also, my man Rick Ray in the house too, saying Michael Golden goodness. That rolls off the tongue really well. Good to see you, Rick. Thanks for hanging out with us. And also my main man, Albert. Albert Loves Comics is hanging out with us as well. He loves your display, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Showing some love in the chat. Love it. Love it. Let's see. We got Comics Kings Brandon in the house saying, Ayo.
He's our guest next week for issue
number 2. That's
Mikey.
right.
Nice.
That's right. So yeah, looking forward to that, Brandon. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see. We have my man Paul, aka Back-to-Back Issues, also hanging with us. The first 4 Marvel fanfares were tremendous. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I've only we'll get into that, but I won't spoil the spoil. So but yeah, good call there, Paul. Thanks for hanging out with us as well. Looks like everyone else is saying hello to everybody. I do see Jackson Roy Kirk also hanging out with us today. Good to see you, Roy Kirk. As always, thanks for hanging out with us as well. All right. I think that is everyone for now. So appreciate everybody hanging out. Make sure you smash that like button. But let's get into this discussion, Marvel Fanfare, right here. And I'll start with you, John. What was your initial thoughts on the issue overall, and how would you grade this on a scale?
I remember like finding these in dollar bins and reading them when I was a kid. So I have read these before. It's been an incredibly long time since I've read them. But to Paul's point, I think somebody else as well mentioning Mr. Golden, his artwork really makes this function for me. The wordiness, especially in this first issue, can bog it down a little bit. There's a ton of setup going on here because for those that don't know, Marvel Fanfare usually be 2 stories, 1 main and 1 secondary story. And it would spread over a few issues. So you'd kind of get set up, excitement, climax, and then wrap it up in the final. And so this is definitely the setup. There's a lot of talking going on here. And so this is definitely a slow issue in that way, but Michael Golden's art is phenomenal. And I think one of the highlights overall, his background work, the color work, really, really great. I think I give this about an 8 out of 10 overall.
Yeah, I think it's a great grade and well said. Also, Paul, appreciate the pink there that you got going on, John. I'm going to pass it over to you, Verno. What were your initial thoughts on this, and how would you grade this issue?
I'll start with the grade because I agree with my man John. That's exactly what I was thinking is an 8, and it's just like what you said. It's set up. I was like kind of shocked when it ended. I was like, oh, it's like this is like a 14 page issue.
Yeah,
but it's just set up. I love the Savage Land. I'm a fan of Sauron. I like all that stuff, so I like that. I like me some Peter Parker. We get some J. Jonah Jameson, which is great. And the art, which this is a name, like I feel like I should know Michael Golden, but it really stood out to me as being just fire art. It reminds me a lot of like an Art Adams kind of style. It's in that vein. So he draws it and he colors it. The inking is great, which I don't see who the inker is. Maybe he inks it too. But overall, I like it. It makes me curious where it goes from here because I read this a while back, but I do not remember at all the stories that come after this. Yeah, but, I'll stick with an 8. It was fun, but you don't really get a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said there too. And I think that's definitely a great grade for that. You point out some great things about it too, with just the different characters that we get. And I think, for me, I appreciate that we are getting some Spider-Man, and it's something that I have, and shame on me, but I have not really taken as much time to read as I probably should. I've been reading, as John knows, the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff from Bendis, really enjoying that. But, other than that, just, trying to divide my time amongst obviously so many different things. So it is nice to, it's refreshing to get, Spider-Man himself in one of the X-Men issues as we're breaking down Omni X-Men. So with that and just all the different characters and stuff, I'm right around there with you guys. I'll be weird and different and say 8.5 because I usually grade higher than John anyway. So, but yeah, right there with you. Definitely enjoyed it. It was a bit of a, that's it. That's the end. The way it kind of ended, fading to black there. But overall, really enjoyed the setup. As we'll call it, more of a setup, and curious to see where it goes. And I did want to note, I actually have read this before, or maybe I read half of it because I really don't remember the fade to black and all how it ended. So I just remember the first part of it and kind of how they get to the island and stuff. So anyways, we'll get into that. But going back to my, haven't read any of these issues that we've been diving into recently, kind of breaks that. Real quick, want to highlight and say hello to our good friend Chet Knight in the house as well. He's driving right now. Be safe, my friend. But yes, thank you for hanging out with us. And let's see. Wow, the post-burn X bash is still going on. Yes. All right, so I'm going to open this up here. We'll start with, of course, just starting with the cover here. And John, I'll pass it over to you. What were your initial thoughts of the cover?
I mean, it's obviously really thrilling, right? I mean, Spider-Man is the celebrity at Marvel, so splash him right on the cover. Dinosaurs carrying him through. I guess angels in the background there somewhere blending in with the mountain. But certainly a very exciting cover. So yeah, I'm down for it. This definitely would make me pick it up and take a look.
Right.
Yep. And Verno, what about you?
I love it, actually. It's I always look at the line work and the inking, and it's just I like that OCD style, like really like just kind of like a perfectionist when it comes to the line work. Angel does definitely fade into the back. I almost didn't notice them until just looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, well, they talk about the cover. Let me look at it and think about it. But also, I really like the sunset in the background. The orange kind of pops. The Marvel Fanfare logo is pretty dope too.
Yep.
So overall, yeah, it's a solid, exciting cover. Little drool coming out of Sauron's mouth.
Yeah,
I missed that, but yeah, it's pretty fire.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, definitely a cover I feel like I would recognize, from across the store, even if you haven't read this. And of course, yeah, if you know the characters, it's Sauron. And so that definitely opens up some doors as well. If you've read some of the earlier Omni X-Men stuff or X-Men issues, then you have a hint to some of those characters as well. Go ahead.
To Chet's point, like they definitely made a point of having higher paper quality and a better printing, so like the issues looked like high quality magazines almost, and less like a comic typically.
Yeah, great point too, because I do have a physical copy somewhere, and I remember seeing that too, the copy or the paper being a bit different. Also, the front of the I have it covered up here, but it says first issue. This is it. So added on a little bit. A very nude Sauron. Yes, good observation there, Michael.
Right. He's got a little bit of a pot belly too.
He does.
I think that's just supposed to be a pterodactyl. I don't think that's him.
Oh no,
just a rando. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because there are some random pterodactyls.
That's
in
true.
This issue.
That's true. And yeah, I actually, before you guys pointed that out, I actually didn't even notice in the background there seeing Angel. So he really does from here on a smaller screen, especially. It looks like he's just part of the mountain kind of. And also to answer your question, Verno, I was going to say it does say he's the colorist, Michael Golden, as well. As the artist. So let's jump into this. And right off the bat, we see Eagly here hanging out with Angel. I thought this was just fantastic. I had no idea that they were going to include Eagly like this. So I thought it was really well done. So we are back in the Savage Lands, essentially. We get a little hint, at least, as somebody that I'm not very familiar with on a helicopter on her way to first meet up and talk with Angel. So they're on their way to his fancy mansion and all that, the large, massive place he lives in. So with that being said, her name's Tanya, right? Tanya Anderson.
Tanya Anderson, and she's about to meet Candy Southern.
Yes, yeah, Candy Southern, who we've met before, right? In some of the earlier X-Men issues.
These ladies have legit porn star names.
Yeah, I'm curious. So meanwhile, she arrives at the place, and top right hand corner. I know it's a little smaller, but she's greeted by Candy. And meanwhile, Angel, is late for this meeting. He's still hanging out with Eagly, and so eventually he catches up and meets up with the rest of the crew. Before I go any further, though, what were your guys' general thoughts of like this big splash page, kind of hinting to what we're getting to, and then going into some of this story with Tanya? I will pass it to you, Verno, first.
Well, I like the way you said that, kind of just hinting at what we're gonna get, because I like how they that's not the actual scene. Sauron and Khazar and all them there. There's just a little. These are all the characters you're gonna see in here, and it's just set up in a nice way. Again, the line work is great. It's got that Frank Miller-esque long side panel, and then I always think of this just because I heard him say it. I don't know if Frank Miller is the guy that started doing this or made it a more prominent thing. But I remember, when you see that white panel there, where you see Angel and the Eagles there, he pointed out, when he's really trying to make something stand out, he'll give it a white panel.
Oh, yeah.
So, I always think of that as a Frank Miller thing. But and it always stands out to me, and I always notice it. But, yeah, they're fire out of the first 2 pages.
Yep. Yeah, good points there. John, what about you? What were your thoughts here at this opening scene?
Great detail work all around. The backgrounds look really sharp. Michael Golden really nailing it. Everybody looks gorgeous. I mean, I don't know how many like lats that Angel's got, but he's got a ton. He's got a ton. He's got a ton of muscles. And the ladies, Candy's got her bikini going. Like everybody's just looking good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Angel. It's what you imagine a billionaire playboy like Warren would have for his pad, which we visited a few times previously in the Uncanny run.
Right.
True. Very
is
true.
this Justin? Either is this before or after X Factor? Because I feel like the first issue. Okay. Okay. Because in X Factor, it's very similar. They're like entering Angel's place. I feel like he's out flying around there too.
Yeah.
It's the same pad and everything.
I mean, it's Angel. He doesn't do a lot else.
Right. He flies around with eagles.
It's very true. He doesn't do a lot else. Michael says Michael Golden loves muscles. Yeah, we see it. All right, let's see. Moving on, we get a little bit of a flashback. I like how this was done. Just getting a little idea of kind of who Tanya is, because again, I mean, you're just jumping into that. And I don't know if this is like, I don't know. I don't think this is her first appearance. But wherever she kind of comes in from, we learn her history of why she's even attempting to come out here. And she's explaining it along the way to Candy and Angel. These names. So with that, she kind of goes into the background of what's his name? Carl Lycos, who we know about Carl. Like we've met, obviously we have had stories with him. But she apparently has had this growing love for him. Starting out as kids, they were friends. We learned that his dad died at a young age, so they had kind of grown up together at that point, and she's fallen in love with him. And then this whole thing of how he kind of turned into Sauron and all this other mess. She breaks out some of those details. So I also like, they had that picture there, and she even sees that from the time that they were on the news or whatever, when Kazar was on the news, and she points out Carl Lycos there at the top right hand corner. So what were any thoughts here, John, that you want to add into kind of talking about her reminiscing? It's
a lot of wordy setup for sure, but the artwork does flow very nicely, and the use of actually, like Verno mentioned, the idea of using a big white background for her sort of floating head there, and then segueing that into the memories that she's pulling. I really love the artwork. Makes it work for me. It is a ton of exposition and backstory kind of being, let me tell you my life story. And that's hard to read, but it is the important setup you need.
Yep.
Right.
Verno, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty similar, but I'm trying to think, like, if we've seen this. I think when we go to the Savage Land before, like 30, 40 issues ago, whenever it was, it's like the same story. So they just kind of lay it out again, give you a little refresher. Notice dudes reading Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Yep, good point.
But you get to see the little X-Men there, which I'm just now noticing. I didn't even notice that. The like 60s version X-Men. So solid stuff. I always appreciate it because get a little update, a little refresher on his origin.
Yeah. I did not notice the books, so that's cool. Yeah, that you pointed that out. Good call.
Looks like Doctor Strange in the. I don't know who that is in the top right. They say who it is, but I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be his dad.
Okay.
As she's kind of explaining how he's when he lost his dad. Yes. So I almost did a spit take before. Thank you for that. So gonna go into this next slide here. I love this right here. We finally flash over to Daily Bugle. This is where obviously, seeing Spider-Man on the front cover, we're like, when are we getting to Spidey? And I like that it's not just jumping right into Spider-Man in action. It's going into his daily life. And, that's, I think, one of the bigger pulls that, a lot of people obviously appreciate and can attach themselves to with a guy like Spider-Man. So, we're getting him at the Daily Bugle, getting yelled at, right, by Jonah. And he basically has this goal, this job for him, as they've kind of found out a little more information about everything that's going on. The same thing that Tanya wants to go to find Carl Lycos. So she is, he wants to send Peter, on the way there, which there was a flashback, right? They mentioned that, he refers to, he goes, you want me to go back there again? Apparently he had almost died. I don't remember what issue it was that they marked. 103 and 104, Amazing Spider-Man, which I haven't read, but so they talk about that. So he has some history here. The other thing I wanted to just highlight real quick is on the right-hand side, just seeing the back and forth going on of how he basically talks him into going, Peter. And at the end, Peter goes, well, I might change my mind. He goes, what'll it take? He goes, money. He goes, never. And you can just picture, that's like, knowing him from the movies and everything else, like, it's just so, it just made me laugh. Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed going back when I did Web Summer, when John joined me. That's the first time I'd really went and read a lot of the Stan Lee stuff was that month. And Stan Lee had that voice for J. Jonah Jameson down day one. And nobody's ever really like swayed too far away from that. He's always had that.
Yeah, good point. John, anything to add here with this Daily Bugle stuff?
I mean, I think it's like, to your point, it's a great way to get us into Peter Parker's mindset because he's not a ton of Spidey in this issue. Right. And to see him as Peter Parker dealing with, I need to pay rent, pay for Aunt May's medical expenses, and how do I win one over on Jonah? And so I like all of it.
Yep. Good points there. So jumping into this next one, we do get we get a lot more copy here, a lot more text, as they are, now all agreed. You can see Peter sitting there next to Angel and Tanya. They are on a ship or on a plane here on their way headed to the Savage Lands to go look for Carl Lycos. I put those two issues there to the side because there is some references that goes on there in one of the bubbles there. Angel's just kind of referring back to the last time that they were there. And these are issues I have not read. I don't know if you guys have read them. I know that the one issue 64 is a significant issue in terms of first appearance and whatnot. But you get a little bit of a story there about the fact that they've had some bad reminders running into Magneto and things like that. And they all have their own thoughts. Cause even like Tanya's thinking about, she's praying, she's worried, hoping that she can save Carl, that things are going to work out. Peter's just, rocky about the whole thing and hoping that it's going to be a basic trip along the way. And then from there, we jump right into them being attacked by a sandwich. Not again. This is where the plane crashed, just like that other issue we talked about, John. And there was a sandwich that brought the team down. It was so sad. Wait, hold on.
Sandwiches and air travel.
Sorry. It was not. Sorry. I jumped the gun there, guys. It was not a sandwich. I thought for a second. I don't remember that. It has happened multiple times. So at this, we don't know. You never know what a sandwich can do to a team and their ship. Let's see. How do you say it? Pterosaur. So it's a giant pterosaur. That's
a tricky one.
Yeah, the P, man, it throws me off. With all the fog and mist they kind of described in a lot of those text bubbles earlier, this thing comes out of nowhere. And essentially, has them all crash and have to jump out. Luckily, Angel, able to do his thing, and Spidey kind of saves himself, figures it out. Right. What were your guys' thoughts on some of this? Verno, I'll pass it over to you.
The blades not just chopping the head off, the blades breaking instead of just cutting this thing's head off is pretty hysterical. Maybe they'd break, but I'm pretty sure the head would be gone. It's great, man. Like, you can't say anything more about this dude's artwork. My favorite panel on these two pages here is the one with the pilots in the foreground and then our superheroes and the woman there in the background. It's just so much detail, and it's just great compositions and inking, man.
Yep. Absolutely. Good call there. John, what are your thoughts here with some of the silliness that I throw up here?
I mean, certainly this seems at least slightly more realistic than a sandwich. But obviously very exciting. I think it's hilarious that they planned this whole thing and the helicopter lasts all of like 5 panels.
Right.
Really just bad prep all around. Not enough planning time to be aware. Like, hey, Savage Land, there's flying dinosaurs. Really? Okay, yeah. Be ready. Just be prepared. Like, watch for that.
Yep. Yeah. Heads up.
I was thinking, like, if Peter Parker didn't have these superpowers, J. Jonah Jameson would have got him killed like 10 times over years ago.
Yeah, but who's going to sue? Aunt May?
Right.
The perfect employee.
Yeah. How about a pterosaur sandwich. Sorry. Yeah, good stuff there.
I mean, obviously, you also have Peter Parker being very kind of like casual with his identity in this issue.
Yeah.
Like anybody could look and be like, "That's a weird looking parachute."
Right. Well, then he shows up as Spider-Man later, and it's like it's one thing when you're with millions of other New Yorkers.
Right.
There's like 5 people now. One of them's Spider-Man. It's
What are the chances?
I wonder if it's the guy from New York.
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Hey, we got Kenneth Bird in the house.
That is my least favorite drawing so far, which is that face on Peter Parker.
My God, right? He looks like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
So bad. He looks like a woman from ElfQuest. It's just bad.
I love that you pointed that out, dude, because I was thinking the same thing. It's like,
it's so bad.
Oh, this art's so great. That's a rough one.
It can't all be great.
Yeah,
it's true. So yeah, we kind of recap. The team gets back together after the accident. Finding everybody, making sure everybody's all right, and we get that awkward drawing. They're trying to decide what they want to do. Angel's saying that there should be some help arriving. He talked about an emergency station not too far on the other side of the mountain. And Peter said, since we're here, we might as well, stick this out, look around for a little bit. And of course, Tanya agrees. Obviously, she's kind of leading with her heart here more and wants to make sure she gets down to the bottom of this and help find Carl. So we have that. And then as they do that, they stumble across the ruins of what we've seen in recent issues, right? Just kind of seeing the whole, it was like 113 to 116 with Garak, I guess, and how that whole thing kind of imploded on itself. And then immediately after, to the bottom right, the team gets attacked. As you can see, Spidey senses going off, these people that are not as welcoming go and attack them. And of course, that's where a lot of the action kind of hits here. You see a lot going on. I'm going to pass it to you, John. What were your thoughts on this kind of transition and how they just kind of jump right into the action here?
I mean, they have to go quickly because at this point it's been so much exposition. They need to get into some action. So I get the impulse, but it does happen quite abruptly, twice in a row, because it's like attacked, survived the crash, attacked again,
right,
and then it's like one of them's captured, and then attacked again, and then the other one's captured. So it is a little stop and start, story wise. But I do, again, I like the color work, I like the artwork. So in that way, at least it keeps it rolling.
Yeah, love the options he used for the solid red and the solid green, as you can see in those two left-hand corners there, the backgrounds. Really cool too. Verno, what were your thoughts on some of this transition here?
For me, one of my favorite bits in the Claremont run is that post when Jean Grey dies, when she has the Phoenix go into her, and then there's this they're gone for a while. They go on this big trip. They end up in the Savage Land. They're away from the mansion for a long time, and that's, I believe, the issues you were talking about, where you see this big building.
Yeah.
So when I see that, I was like, oh, that's great. I'm an easy sell for continuity. It's
totally.
I remember that from the comic that I liked. I like this now. Yep. So that's pretty much where my mind. And it's cool to see what's happened to it. It was pristine then. It's all beat up. So that's cool. And I like that they get into the history that Magneto has with the Savage Land and all that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice little layout for that for sure. All right, jumping into this next bit here. We finally, so basically he ends up, I should have pointed out too, at the bottom right-hand corner, they get cornered. It's just him and Tanya. And so he shoves Tanya off the cliff. Luckily, there's water there, so he's confident that she'll be all right. And then he's able to quickly change. I guess he'd change in front of the guys that are attacking him, but
they're just savages. They're
like, so you want to make sure he gets his mask on.
That's the Wolverine way, right? You just kill the guy, take his costume, strip down right in the middle of the fight.
Right? Yeah. Hang on 1 second,
Yeah. There's some weird word boxes here where all of a sudden they're trying to tell us the names of these guys that he's fighting and all about how they're blind and stuff. It just seemed like a lot of extra information that we didn't really need, that then they give us again later. So some of this seemed really unnecessary. Do I need to know the name of the guys that are fighting him? Why can't they just fight?
Right. Yeah. Yep. No, you're absolutely right. And I blow this one up here on the right to just, we see the first guy, what's his name? Gaza.
Barbarous is the other guy.
who is blind and
Yes.
mutant. So we find out, this is where some of the other mutants come into play. We also see that somebody is attacking Spider-Man, in that middle panel there, the left panel there, with the kind of attacking his head somehow. I don't know what exactly is going on there, getting brainwashed or whatever, as a distraction. And then, as you mentioned, the other guy we meet, the forearm, what's his name? Barbarous. Yeah, the forearms. I was gonna make a forearm joke, but I missed the opportunity. But either way, we see him get nudged to the ground there. What were some of your thoughts on the action scenes here? Some of the way that these were drawn out. Verno, I'll pass it to you first.
I think this is it's like the prime example of kind of what John was saying, of the action getting bogged down by the words.
Yeah.
If you don't really look at the words, you don't try and memorize everybody's names and what eyes they're blind in. The art's telling a pretty exciting tale.
Yeah.
But it really, I literally remember zoning out during this part. And that happens for me a lot in older comics in the action section. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, the art is great. And I think that's what's her name, Vertigo. I still don't understand the exact relationship between some of these mutants like Vertigo and some of these characters and the Savage Land. So I don't know if that's stuff that I just missed, or if you find out why they're there in future issues.
Yeah, I just keep thinking of hello. John, what about you? What were your thoughts on some of this, these new characters that we're meeting here?
The background work is really great. I love the details on the river when you see Tanya waking up and running along the way. The water looks so cool in that blue and black kind of color work. And then, of course, the Tyrannosaur that she runs across, all of it just really, really cool. But yeah, totally what Verno's saying. The action and excitement is a little stunted by random word bubbles that want to tell us that he has 4 arms, when I can look and see it. I don't need a word bubble that tells me that he's a mutant with 4 arms, when I can look at the guy and go, wow, he's got 4 arms.
Yeah. Basically that box is saying, yes, we just want to clarify. You are incorrect. You are correct at seeing what you're seeing right now.
That's
basically what it's error. Yeah. Let's see. Michael says, so Liefeld stole the idea for forearm from Marvel.
So there's a mutant towards the end of, I think it's the New Mutants run, or maybe the very beginning of I think it's the end of the New Mutants run, but maybe the beginning of X-Force, that has 4 arms.
Okay. All right.
Just like that guy. And maybe
that's a brilliant name, though. That's a great name. Forearm. That's hilarious.
Forearm.
And I thought Goro was perfect. Forearm.
And then, of course, Tanya gets into some trouble. There's another dinosaur there, not the place you want to be, but she's also concerned with at this point, not sure if Carl's dead or not, and at this point, if any of the team is going to survive here, what's going on?
She's still way too concerned about Carl at this point.
She is.
Your helicopter crashed, you're chased by dinosaurs and superpowered characters. Stop worrying about your boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, we can either save him or maybe we need to avenge him. She's just thinking all her options out,
Well, that's that's the prime example. Even Chris Claremont, he was I would call him a feminist for his time, for sure. But that's kind of the way female characters were treated, where that's all they thought about was boys. If 2 girls were talking, they were talking about boys.
Yeah. We highlighted some of that last issue there for sure. Let's see. Jackson Roy Kirk talked about. I said just to make sure you don't think Spidey was growing back his extra arms. Yeah, just to clarify. So we get the T-Rex there. Going to the next one here. A lot's going on here. I had no idea that Hector.
I did not need to see that Green Lantern.
I didn't know he was in this. I really didn't. But so here we are. Spider-Man is waking up now after being knocked out, and this this mutant team that kind of takes him out. And then, as you pointed out, we kind of get a recap now of kind of who everybody is. The villains kind of spill their information, which was popular back then in this era of comic book writing. The villain always kind of having their segment.
He's monologuing
again. And exactly. And yeah, then we get this dude from Green Lantern coming into play here at the bottom. Was really surprised to see him.
Miniature Sinestro.
So, there you go. No, what was the guy's name? Parallax, right? Or that was the creature that like took him over. Right? Yeah. So I was trying to look for his name. I didn't see his name here, but we'll go with Parallax. Anyways, John, I'll pass it to you first. What were your thoughts here on some of the panels that we're looking at right now?
He's Brainchild.
That's it.
That's his name. But it seems like a weird moment to just introduce another character. Like every page seems to be introducing a character. It's a little bit much at this point. They could have saved that guy's reveal for the next issue. I kind of feel, but I get it all out of the way. But the problem is next issue they feel like they need to do it again anyways. They're gonna always be like, wait, we got to be ready for that first time reader. So we're gonna have to run through a little bit of it again next time.
See, Peter Parker was once bit by a spider, but not just any spider.
Batman's mom's pearl necklace so many times. Just have to see that again. She died. Did you know that? So again, a big wordy sort of finish here, but the artwork carrying it for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Verno, what about you?
Myself.
Yeah. No, you're right. You kind of are. Verno, what are your thoughts here?
Pretty much the same. It's your classic. It's stuff you almost don't see enough anymore. This tropey, you've got your superheroes tied down. I'm surprised there isn't a laser going up or a saw between their legs, kind of a thing. But stuff we've seen a lot of times. This Kirby-esque machine, pretty dope, as you said. Sinestro, pretty dope.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
And we want to say a quick hello to Uncanny X Dan in the house. And what's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping by, Dan. And we also got our man 62 Lefty Blues hanging with us as well. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Absolutely. Let's see. So moving on to here, we're coming up to the end of this. This is we're breaking time here, John. We haven't been, this hasn't been since the first couple issues, I feel like. While Angel and Spider-Man are both tied down, Spider-Man trying to struggle and get out, but of course we get Vertigo stepping in and basically doing her thing and making sure or ensuring that Spider-Man does not kind of get out of this whole situation.
And winner for the most practical costume award goes to Vertigo.
Totally. It's a very far out kind of costume.
I thought she was borrowing it from Kitty Pryde. I thought that was,
I like the low level crotch shot we get here. Like, let's just zoom in on that.
That's funny. I didn't even see the little frog guy there. You barely even notice him.
That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even notice the frog. Man,
the bad guy even says at one point, and frog guy, and I was like, "There's a frog guy."
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out if. Do you guys remember? I think it's issue number 94. It's the first issue after Giant Size X-Men when they're fighting. I think it's Count Nefaria or something, and there's all these animal people.
Oh, the Animan. Yeah,
the Animan.
Is this frog one of the Animan?
No, I don't think he is.
All right.
Amphibious is his name.
Now, okay,
don't upset Jackson Roy Kirk. He's a big Animan fan.
Yeah.
The other thing is Vertigo. Is she one of the? I'm trying to figure out where we're at in the timeline, but does she come a Marauder? Is that
later?
The same? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Verno.
Nice call.
Marauder Massacre character. Yeah, for sure.
You guys, every time I'm on, you make me want to go back and reread these because I love this era so damn much. It's so
totally connects in a fun way. To your point about continuity, there's a bunch of connectivity, especially when you have somebody like Claremont clearly writing a bunch of different things with these characters in different places.
Definitely.
Michael, definitely wordy for sure. Jackson Roy Kirk says, as wordy as it is, the fanfare is lighter read than our usual X issues. I will agree with that. I do feel like I still read it faster. Well, granted, it is a shorter issue too, so maybe that's part of it. But I while it is wordy, I think it still kind of went fairly easy for me. Let's see. Michael said the colorist just gave up on the frog guy. He's like,
never
mind.
On her bikini. And I'm sorry, Jackson Roy Kirk, I mixed you up with Beta Ray Jim. My bad.
Yes. Good call. Oh yeah, Beta. That's right. Beta was our first guest. Chet said 94. No, a different dude. Yep. Good call there, Roy Kirk. All right. Getting into these last couple panels now. Yeah, we just get as it kind of describes to us, even though we can see what's happening. It's just a Spider-Man or describing how about Peter Parker's trying to get out of this, but his mind it fades as he's getting dizzy, and Vertigo doing her thing to make sure that that he can't concentrate on trying to escape. While these what are they, these beams that he's shooting at them? I don't even attempt to doom their fate. I forgot what the names of that beam thing was, but anyways, it's not good for our fellow team members here.
It's bad. It's
not a good sign.
Isn't it? Like, I think it's something like Magneto built these machines back in the day, and he used these machines to turn certain Savage Land people into mutants. They're gonna mutate these superheroes.
Yeah, I totally skipped that entire piece. So thank you, Verno, for bringing that. That's a key element to this issue. So good call there. I was busy trying to figure out who Hector Hammond was from Green Lantern. But yeah, great call. Yeah, as part of their evil plan, what they're trying to do. So, and then it just fades to black, which I do like how it just fades to black. It was really cool to read it digitally and have the panel to panel, feature on, because it kind of dims out as you can see those colors there. And then, this issue essentially ends. John, what are your thoughts here? Where are you at with this ending?
I mean, it's a shocking, exciting ending. Those that know the cover for the next issue kind of know where this is going for poor Peter Parker, but great setup for the grotesque version of his story ahead.
Yeah. Hey, we got Anthony in the house. Comics are great. What's going on, Anthony? Verno, what about you, my friend? What were your thoughts here on this kind of quick ending?
I was taken aback, to say the least. I was just a little surprised that it was like, oh damn, it's just a setup and nothing else. I'm gonna have to tune in next week to find out what the hell goes on.
That's right.
But it was cool.
Yep. I'm with you. And now we have a little surprise, or not really. I don't know if you want to call it a surprise, but we have some extra panels here. We're not done yet, and don't go away because we still have our questions that we're going to break down as well to get entered in our raffle. But before we do, if you had the original issue, or if you read it digitally over on Marvel Unlimited, you'll know that there were actually several other pages, about 10, 12 other pages that went along with the Marvel Fanfare, and it was not just this as the end. This particular scene that we're looking at that ends this issue, the story, but there's another story built in, technically two other stories built in. So want to jump into those real quick before we get into the numbers and the questions and everything else. We're doing great on time, John, by the way. Let's see. So first up, put a couple extra things in here because we have our man Al Milgrom in the actual comic itself, not the big green guy on the right, but in the middle and standing next to me. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him multiple times. Really, really kind dude, and he actually plays a really big role in helping my dad, Greg LaRoque, get into Marvel and DC technically.
That's cool.
At the time. So they're friends. They've stayed in touch, and I've talked to Al about that a little bit. It was his idea to call my dad back up and have him come draw for Marvel at a certain time. So really cool little extra piece there I just wanted to throw in. But yeah, we get this little editorial Al, as it's labeled there, and it's basically Jim Shooter, right, yelling at Al to get on with this idea that he has coming up. And basically it's their way of explaining what Marvel Fanfare is and what they plan to do as a company for the fans and what this is going to represent moving forward. Because I think this is like 60 issues altogether. So it went on for a little while. So yeah, just a little funny gag there with Al joking, saying like, yeah, the reason we're doing this is so that we could charge extra money. And he's like, acting all evil and whatnot. Right. So it made me chuckle there. But
I feel like it's a bit of a like, now we understand these comics are a little bit more expensive, but right. here's why. The paper quality. Did you guys notice the paper quality?
Yeah.
It's like they should drop that like once every 6 months at DC and Marvel right now. Be like, listen, let's update on our paper quality on our prices.
Totally.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. John, what were your thoughts on some of this?
I mean, it's just lighthearted, silly Marvel shenanigans. I think the artwork is very comical and very lighthearted, so I enjoyed it. It's silly.
Definitely some cheese. Yeah, definitely some cheese. And if anybody was wondering, that is my my Hulk 271, 280. First Rocket. I can't remember the number now.
Getting signed
there. Yeah, getting signed there. Came back in 9.6. It was pretty good.
Nice.
All right. So then there's another part that we have. Let's see. Quick hello to Bobby Delegato Station, my friend.
Hey.
62 is at the first appearance of White Spider-Man. Let's see. So yeah, for those who have not read this, and I know Verno, you mentioned that this following piece that we're going to just jump into real quick was not part of the actual omnibus. So if you didn't read this, that's okay. We're just going to talk this over real quick, but this is technically part of the issue and also part of the digital version. And it's a Christmas story. I was super pumped for. We got Santa Claus in there. So bringing in the holidays. And then 2, it's all about Daredevil, which I was like super pumped for too. I'm like, this is a nice little surprise here. So John, why don't you kind of go through what, you can run through your thoughts here or kind of what happens.
I mean, it's just a simple little short kind of here at the end. I love a good Daredevil storyline, so this is kind of fun and looking at petty crime in the big city and Christmas spirit and all those kinds of things.
Yeah. Rick saying Paul Smith Daredevil, good call there, Rick. Basically, for those who haven't gotten a chance to read it, it's about this guy who's playing Santa Claus, trying to collect money for the kids, and he essentially gets jumped. He gets beat up and gets robbed. And Daredevil kind of sees it, or he's around when this happens. He also knows that who this guy is. So when he goes missing and he's supposed to show up at this party, he goes to go find him and he finds out that he got jumped. So he tries to make those wrongs right. And of course he does so. And it actually gets a little dark. There actually was a moment where as he chases this guy down, this guy falls off the roof, and just some of the ending parts. I don't have it larger here, but he basically says wanted to get this guy. You could see he's thinking this in his head. And he's like, just don't want it to go down this way, never this way. But regardless, he's like, I stopped this guy. So this guy, he basically died falling off this roof as Daredevil's chasing him, trying to get this money back, this gangster guy. And I've been reading a lot of Daredevil, and I will say they definitely stole the general story from some of the past issues that I've recently read with Daryl, where it's like he waits for the clumsy bad guy to run back to the main boss so that he can find out where the main boss is, right? And then take out, the main head of the mob. So classic strategy there for Daredevil, trying to find out who he has to go after. But anyways, Daredevil ends up making it rain with the money that was stolen from him, and you see it all on the right hand side kind of falling back, and it's a Christmas miracle, making it rain there. So and again, it's for the kids, so it's nice little ending, nice little holiday story there. Any other thoughts there on that, John, before I kind of run into the next thing?
I think you pretty much wrapped it up. It's just fun, cool. Cute little thing at the end there, and I would have been pumped as a kid to buy it and have X-Men ish Angel and Daredevil.
Then Daredevil. Yep.
It's great art. Just flipping through it. There's some really, really nice art in this too.
Paul Smith.
That's Paul Smith, who's going to be on X-Men here not too long.
And I tell you what, this looks pretty different in my opinion. From what Paul Smith, I don't know if it's just it's Terry Austin inking it. That's probably to do with it.
Yeah,
because he doesn't. It's a different style looking for Paul Smith. Not as many more lines that I'm used to for his work.
Yeah.
So I bet that's Austin actually. That's cool.
And then after that, the other things I threw in here were again, if you had the issue, this was in the back. It's just cool little, I don't know if it was laid as a 2-pager or what, because I saw it digitally, but they included this piece here that was done by John Byrne. And then after that, then we get into the numbers. So I did throw on the background. So this other piece was the back side of the issue. So I wanted to throw that in as well. So that was cool.
Very key element there.
Had to there wasn't much else I could really find on this. Did a little Googling and there was nothing major about this, so I just thought that was probably very important to highlight it anyways, so make sure people know about the sandwich. Other than that, I realized that I really can't read the screen here. Let me blow this up. Okay. 9.8 fair market value, going for $150. There were no 30 or 60 day average. There was a whatever the next 110 day or something like that they did. or whatever the next thing was. I don't know. I think that whatever the next level was, I think it was $110 is what it was. So maybe a year ago, I think is what the level for 9.8. So definitely not really selling in that sense. But there are 149 of those 9.8s out there, and then the 9.6s dropped to a little more than half of that, $90 fair market value. Census has about 93, and then trails down from there. Not many in general. Not a lot of people kind of grading this. So. But that's your numbers there. The one at the bottom, the 6.5, it says last sold December 2014 for $11. So that gives you a little example right there. But that kind of wraps it up. That's the money. Anything you want to add here, John, with the end of this, or the money, or anything else that I might?
That's it. I think you could easily read all 4 of these in one go, one sitting. Yeah. They're such speedy reads overall, and I think it works better as a 4-issue mini series if you want to read it that way. But we're gonna break it down. We're gonna give it to you one by one.
That's right. Yeah, Michael, good point. Daredevil murders a guy and Santa True Club. What about you, Verno? What were your thoughts here? Just overall, the ending, or anything with the money? Anything you want to add into it?
The money's I'm always so interested because I never look at stuff like that. Like just like a 9.8. I'm like, oh, that seems fairly cheap, but I have nothing to compare it to. But it's a cool cover. So I can see it being something to throw into the collection. If I saw it, I would pay $11 for a 6.5. But I'm glad I read it, because now I'm going to sit and read the rest of it. But it does overall, kind of like where we started with. It feels, I guess, incomplete. It's supposed to feel incomplete, but it's a weird start. You don't really get like much there. You know what I mean? It's just all set up, and then it just ends.
Yeah, no, good point. Rick also saying Marvel Fanfare is pretty easy run to put together. That's a good point too. I actually, when I was hunting this past Sunday, and I saw a bunch of them in like the $2 bins. The first, it was like issue 1 and 2, and then there were some later issues there. I thought about grabbing them. I already have issue 1. I was like, I'm not gonna buy another one. But anyways, that's what we got. That's what we got here for the slides. But don't go away, because we are going to go into our questions now. And again, if you are not following Verno, make sure you do so. Verno, we've appreciated you having you hang out with us here. And you get to pick the funny answers tonight. So I hope you're ready for that. The name of the game here, gang, everybody watching right now, is John and I are going to have 4 questions for you. We are looking for the correct answer twice. So in other words, if you see someone else guess it correctly, that's okay. Type it in there anyways, because you can still get a point as well if you're the second person to answer correctly. And then, of course, separately, in order to get your name in this raffle as well, you can also give us a funny answer. This is what I look forward to each and every Wednesday or Tuesday, is going through these funny answers. So, but just know that Verno gets to pick what he thinks is the funniest answer. So you got to play to the audience there. So make Verno laugh. So we'll start this off with John. Your first question, my friend.
So this is about last week's issue with the Fantastic Four and X-Men sort of meeting and teaming up and traveling across space and time to solve big problems. But at the very beginning of the issue, Sue Storm is really, really upset. Why is Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, why is she upset? What has upset Sue?
Yeah.
Could be lots of things. Lots of things.
Ryan here says, I like Marvel Fanfare story arcs with Black Widow. Oh, George Perez. Nice. That's the other thing. They had a lot of different guests that came in and did a lot of these.
There's some really great Scarlet Witch covers. There's some Black Widow covers.
That cover that I think is maybe, issue number 10 with Black Widow on it. I'm scrolling through them right now, and that is one that really stands out as being pretty iconic.
Oh, nice. I gotta have to look
issue 15 with the thing on the cover too is really, really cool cover.
Nice.
I see one correct answer so far. Remember, we want 2, so that means somebody else can copy and paste it. If they think they see the correct answer, you can duplicate it. There's some very good funny answers.
Right.
I am cool is up in the chat right now. What's going on, man? What do you think is a good Omni to start with? Probably your first one, I would say. It's a good one to start with. Come on, hanging out with Lasso,
I mean, obviously you want to pick something that is a series that you're really interested in with a artist creative combo that you feel like you're in, because they're not cheap, but you get a lot for it.
Right.
If you bought the same issues in trades, you're usually going to spend about the same or more. This is one collected edition. but they're harder to have manage. They're pretty heavy to carry around.
Right.
So you really want to pick something that you think you want to be with for the long haul.
You know what I'll say is if not the first Omni for Claremont's X-Men, then Morrison's new X-Men, because it's the entire story and it's great. And it's
and that's when you want Omni, you can get it.
It's not as dated, you know what I mean? Depending on where you're at, it's a little bit more modern. Sure. It's fantastic. I've read my omnibus of that like 3 times now.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna give the correct answer to Lasso.
Yep, there it is.
And I'm gonna give it to Lefty Blues. I'm just, is it a microwave dinner? We don't know, but dinner was ready and they weren't there to eat it.
Yep.
So
good call. 62. Congrats.
So 62
Ryan.
Lefty Blues and Magic Lasso making the bonus points there.
6 Deuce had one of the funny ones too, so I'll have to cut that out.
No, you can. You can double down.
You can double down for sure. Sue's upset because no one can see her invisible dress.
That wasn't the one.
Okay, brother John. Johnny burnt the pancakes.
I like that.
Sure that's happened. Namor didn't call her back.
I like that.
She feels like she's overlooked.
That I liked. If he's thinking of it the way that I'm thinking, she's invisible, then that's pretty witty.
She realized Reed was never actually looked at her like he does computers. I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah, he is very much into his computers. Let's see. Reed told her that she was fat because weight is relative.
The greater the mass, the greater the reattraction, though. That's a rule of science.
I thought you were going to make that rhyme. Just
sorry.
The greater the mass, the bigger the it's a different show.
Bigger the book.
All right, Verno, who's the comedy winner?
Oh man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not blown away. I didn't chuckle by anybody. I'm a little disappointed, you guys. Usually, you guys are bringing the heat. This was just okay. I'm gonna assume that Lefty is saying this in the way that I'm thinking of it, with the nice little pun there, that she's overlooked because she's invisible.
Wait, overlooked was
62.
6 Deuce.
Was it 62? Okay.
Yep. Hey, we got Guy Forge in the house. Saying what's up? Was it Bobby? Bobby said that she feels overlooked. Oh, is that?
It was Bobby. Sorry. My bad, Bobby. Sorry, brother.
there we go. Bobby Delgado.
Right.
Bobby's been on the list, right? He's
been on there. This is his 7th. No, sorry. Let's see, what 13th.
Okay, cool. Guy Forge in the house. Principal Defects. Good to see you, Guy. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the Masters. All right, next one I'm going to go with first. I'm going to do a fill in the blank here. This should be interesting. Just looking for one word. So just looking for one word, and
love your setup.
We'll see how this goes. This is the scene where in the beginning, Kitty Pryde is asking if she can go with the rest of the team on their mission that they're starting up, and so she has to ask Professor X, and this is Professor X response. He says, "You've more than proven yourself your worth, Sprite. If Cyclops and Storm have no blank, you have my permission." I'll say that one more time. You've more than proven your worth, Sprite. If Cyclops and Storm have no blank, you have my permission. What was it that Professor X said here in order to have his permission for Sprite, new name Sprite, to go on with the rest of the team here? Very curious. Really just looking for one word answers. And again, if you see the correct answer, you can. That was pretty fast, actually. See them right here. Sorry, the chat just jumped. Sorry, hold on. Magic Lasso was the first one. He said objections, and the second one there is Bobby Delgado. So those are correct there. But we have a couple funny ones here. So Collector Michael says fashion sense.
Weed. If they have no weed, then you have my permission.
Guy says cookies. If they have no cookies, then you have my permission. If they have no reservations, Brother John says. Albert says if they have no qualms, then you have my permission.
That's actually the word I was thinking. I was guessing myself.
Okay, yeah. There's the weed fill in there from Guy. If you have no weed, if they have no weed, then you have my permission. Engorgement from 62 Lefty Blues. Hey, we got Entropy in Comics. Kevin, what's going on, my friend? If they have no balls, then you have my permission, Albert.
I mean, Storm doesn't.
Very, very nicely done. Magic Lasso, if they don't have any Rachel dinners, then you have my permission. Verno, I don't know if you saw that episode. It was the Rachel dinners episode, but
no,
still a great one.
When you misspell the last name Summers,
yeah,
dinners,
and your name is Chet. Bobby says if they have no concern for kids,
good one.
We got some good ones here. What do you think here, Verno?
Oh God, I'll tell you, I was going with weed, but Bobby came through again, man. That's the one that made me chuckle the hardest.
Yeah,
Flatulence isn't bad too, but if they have no concern of kids dying, you win.
Well done, Bobby. Congrats.
Bobby's
all right, so Bobby's on the list. All right, John, back to you.
All right, so last issue, we were talking about a lot about the hero Archon from this far off universe that we traveled to, but we jokingly used his name to reference two other things: one a person, one a place. Name one of them. What did the character Archon make people think of?
And by people, we mean Greg.
Well, I mean, yes. You didn't know how to pronounce Archon's name, even though it's pretty straightforward.
He very much stood his ground on that as well. I do respect that.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to cut a clip, John, of the Rachel Dinners episode that we did, because that's
gonna be a key one.
I still laugh at
Keeper.
that. Yeah. Okay. Seeing some answers here. Remember, we are looking for a funny one as well. Hey, we got Azor's Tiger in the house. Eric, my dude, what's up?
What up, brother?
It was not acorns. There was no acorn references that I can remember.
Arkham from Batman Universe.
I mean,
that's a legit answer.
So I'm going to say it's Sove and Magic Lasso.
Okay. All right.
Akron, Ohio, and so they mentioned the city. I want the city with Ohio, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with Sove, and I'm going to go with Lasso on that.
Okay.
We also mentioned Akon, the musician.
Yeah,
that didn't come up this time.
No one had Akon there. Any funny answers? Let's see.
Akon was the funny answer.
I mean, honestly.
62 says round on both ends, high in the middle of Ohio. LeBron James, Eric says.
Made people think of LeBron.
Let's see. Yeah, so we have that. We have Albert's
Arkham is pretty
right
funny.
now. I'm saying
that's actually
Arkham's pretty damn funny because it works.
Eric throwing up 3 X's, which is in reference to X-Men, but you could take that in a funny way. All right,
let's just go with we going with Albert then, and
yeah, I think we'll go with Albert there for that one.
All right,
mark them down.
You got one more.
Yep, last one to go here, and the question is: what does Brother Royal, who was the main villain last issue, what does Brother Royal do to his henchman when his henchman updates him that the Stargate has been destroyed? He comes bearing really bad news. He even says that. He's like, sorry to, drop this on you, boss, but the Stargate has been destroyed. What should we do? And he does something. What does
yeah, remember the X-Men you told me to take care of?
Yeah. Not so much.
Never good when you get your Stargate broken.
Yeah.
Keep those things in
I always think of Eric the Red, John, with Stargate being built in 10 minutes. It was really impressive stuff.
He's an impressive engineer.
Yeah. So again, what does Brother Royal do to his henchman when his henchman updates him?
I see one correct answer and a lot of really funny ones.
All right, let's see. Spank them. That is not correct there. So blast, very funny. Blast him with his gun. Yep. That's actually me. I'm just clicking things, John. The old reach around. Classic reach around. 62.
There you go.
Puts him in time out. Turns him into a straight royal flush in the full house, in his full house. Nice little play on words there, Albert. Slaps him like Will Smith. Eats their children. Off with their heads, Eric says. Peas in their shoes. Man, there's a lot of great ones. Okay, there's the second answer. So we have two correct ones. We have 62 Lefty Blues and also Magic Lasso, who also said he blasts him with a gun. Yes. We would also take, kills him or destroys him or any other of those. But yeah, some good selections here. Let's see. So Verno, what are your thoughts? Any of these stand out to you the most?
I'm always a fan of a classic reach around. So yeah. Let's go with the old reach around.
62, man. He knows how to sway you, man. He knows your he knows your bread and butter there. So yeah, there you go. Nice job, 62, and everybody else. Thank you for the answer, the entertaining answers. We are, this is record timing for me, I have to say. So well done, Justin. Really, really well done. Before we wrap up, again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. I want to give a big thank you to Verno for joining us again, second time on the show, holding it down. Well done, my friend. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Verno, before we leave, is there anything that you'd like to share with the people? Anything that anybody should be looking out for that you want to give a heads up to?
No, I'm still on a bit of a hiatus. I'll go ahead and I'll promote Dylan's show because that's the one show that I just love doing. It's so laid back and chill over on Dylan's Horror Show. We're talking about 1981's Ghost Story, which I've never seen. I'm not going to recommend that you watch it, but I'm going to watch it and I'm going to talk about it this Saturday night on Dylan's Horror Show with with probably Steph from the Bad Batch and Rockin' Robbie Billups will be over there hanging out. So. In the meantime, go sub up to the Cerebros on YouTube, Apple Podcast. I got hundreds of episodes up. You can go check out the back catalog, and I will be doing some new stuff. Hopefully, pretty soon.
Nice.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I love it. Make sure, like Verno said, I put his information in the description, so make sure you check that out. 62 saying this is one of the funniest shows on YouTube, bar none. 62, I agree. However, I will say looks aren't everything. But thank you, my friend. Other than that, John, since we have a little time, I'm going to pass it to you as well. Anything you have coming up, including tonight, that you have?
This is the meat in the sandwich of my night because I'm going from here over to Daymare's Comics for his CGC unboxing, and I was on Morbius's channel, triggering some folks earlier. So I've been scattered across YouTube this evening, and I'll be on. I think my channel Thursday night for book club because I'm at Disneyland tomorrow, so I cannot do book club as normal on Wednesday.
Okay,
but that's my next few days.
Sweet, sounds good. Disney, I'm jealous. I wanted to just point out that I'm going to have Comic Collector Origins this Saturday, 2:00 Eastern on my channel, and I'm actually going to have this guy, not the dinosaur, but Sove Collector.
Nice.
Really? Michael, finally going to be on the show. We've talked about it for a long time. He's been one of my biggest supporters of the show, so I can't wait to pick his brain and see a little bit more into his history of how he got started with this great hobby. So definitely check that out this Saturday, 2:00 Eastern. My day's all wacky and messed up right now. So other than that, again, appreciate everybody who has come out, hung out with us. It's a great time. We will be reviewing Marvel Fanfare issue number 2 over on John's channel next Tuesday, 9:00 as usual. So make sure you are subbed up to him as well. Otherwise, other than that, just smash that like button on the way out. Again, thanks everybody for hanging. Until next time, we will talk to you.